Hello, everybody, and welcome again to our LinkedIn Live. We have an amazing show ready for you. We're live on LinkedIn, Facebook, YouTube, and I think Instagram as well. We have the amazing Catherine with us, and we're going to talk about something everybody wants to hear. Catherine, you're the founder of Impact Content. A lot of people know you on LinkedIn. You have an amazing following. You're going to tell us today about how to create a viral post, and I think everybody's excited to hear from you. So, Catherine, share a little bit about yourself and how you create this magic.
Absolutely, yeah. I do have to call out, I have a little bit of pregnancy brain. I am 26 weeks pregnant. I don't know if a lot of people know that who follow me on here. I haven't done like an announcement, but if I'm all over the place, I'm really sorry.
Doing one now. So,
Yes,
congratulations. This is
thank
amazing.
you. Thank you. Thank you. We're very excited. A little bit about me. I started Impact Content not that long ago. And I'm now writing a course on how to write a viral post, essentially. So this is kind of a little preview of that course. There's a lot that goes into it. So we're going to go over the basics today. And then if you have questions, obviously ask in the chat, and excited to help.
So I love bringing people like you on because you practice what you preach. Okay, you're doing stuff. It's helped you. You've created amazing success, and now you're helping others doing the same thing. So we all want to create posts that go viral, but not. It's not that easy, right? But you actually have a framework. You've developed a framework that doesn't work 100% of the time, but gives you a way to have a chance to become viral in almost everything that you post. Is that accurate?
Yes, I follow a framework pretty much every post. And I make sure that I see the chat. Is it live distraction? Congratulations. Oh, hey, hey, Juan. Hey, everybody. Thank you. Yeah, so there's a formula that I use almost every single post. You can switch it up. The beautiful thing about creating content online is there are rules, but the rules are meant to be broken. So really, this formula works for me. If you use it and find that you're changing something a little bit and that works better for you, that's normal. So I guess, do we want to get started or?
Please share. Let's share your screen and let everybody know. So, Catherine has done an amazing job. Amazing followers. You create so much engagement in your feeds. I'm gonna share with you what works for me a lot of times, and I would like to see if it works for you, and then we'll pull your instructions. How do you start a post? I always like to have a hook or a question or something that will make people think. But when you're starting with something, how do you start with it, Catherine? Like, what's the first thing?
The first thing is a hook. So someone commented, I think yesterday, and said, "I hope you have a formula for your headlines." And I was like, "Yes, the hook is like the main thing that you want." I have a quote here I wrote down. So it's David Ogilvy. He's the father of advertising. And he said, when you've written your headline, you've spent 80 cents out of your dollar. And I think that's so powerful and so important to know. The hook is everything. In content creation, the first 1 to 3 seconds is what people say is the most important. I think it's the first like 1.5 seconds. So you want your hook to be juicy. You want your hook to be manageable to process. Pregnancy brain, I'm sorry. And you want your hook to be just super intriguing to your audience, because that's what's going to get them to keep reading.
Love that. So what you just said, 80-20 rules. Guys, the hook is 80% of the work. Okay, so if you don't have a good hook, even if you have a great post, it's not going to work. So you got to make sure that you put a hook. And now explain a hook. Define a hook for us. And what kinds of hooks do you use, Catherine?
So a hook would be the first 1 or 2 sentences of your post. How I try to think about it is, what is like a question or a quote or something to intrigue someone to read the next line? And if it's a 2-line hook or a 3-line hook, how do I keep them going down and clicking that see more button? I think it's like the first sentence and a half shows up on people's timelines, and you have to click see more to continue reading. I want every single person who reads the hook to click the see more. Because as we know, dwell time on a post really matters for virality. So if they're pushing see more, that just means they're spending more time on your posts, which makes it go further on the algorithm. The way I like to think about a hook is this catchy like one of your favorite magazines or one of your favorite articles online? It usually says like, here's how to do something in this amount of time, or here's how to do, it's like if you're doing a how-to post, you want to tell people what they're getting and how long it's going to take them. And if that's intriguing enough, they'll click. Another way to do it is I use another great way to research what hook is going to work in the niche that you want to write in is research other creators who are doing what you want to do and see what hook works for them. Would you pull up here?
I'm trying to show what you just did here. So guys, this is amazing. And what Catherine is giving you is a methodology. Your goal is to have people click the more. Do you see the more? Okay, that is your goal. Like, make it simple and understand that if they don't click that, nothing else will happen. And Catherine, you'll share with us your post in a second. But what I wanted to share is have a visual for everybody to see what you're saying. So the first goal for you, Catherine, is for people to press that more. Is that correct?
That's correct. Yeah, absolutely.
So guys, that's the number one thing. And in order to do that, you need to create a question that triggers people's minds to do something for you. So can you share with us, can you share with us your post and we can start going through your rules?
Yeah, let me pull this up here.
Thank you, Reza. Catherine is awesome.
You guys are awesome. Okay. All right, I zoomed in, so there are no distractions on the side here, but this is it. We don't have the more because you opened
up your
because I clicked into it.
So this is the hook you use. So explain this hook for us.
So the hook is actually something I do very last, but this hook gives the readers what they're going to get, what they get helps them do. And there's no timeline on this, but use these 5 simple hacks to turn your talk into action. If I wanted to go further, I could say turn your talk into action in 10 days or like 3 hours or something like that. Might make it even juicier to read. But that's actually the hook is the very last thing I write. Did you say something? I heard static. Okay. All right. So I guess we can hop in here and go over what we do. Actually, before I share the formula, I just want to say, actually, let's get people in the chat here. Maybe put a 1 if you're already creating content, or a 2 if you are not creating content yet and came here to learn how, or maybe awesome. A 3.
Chat, please. Catherine is doing something amazing. Thank you for doing that. So Catherine, if people are already creating content, you want them to just chat 1. If they're already creating
1 in the chat,
created and you wanted to learn how to do your first one, press 2. So everybody take a second. If you're already creating content on LinkedIn, please press 1 in the chat. And if you're not, please press 2. So let's
1 and some 2. Okay, I just want to see where everyone's at before we start on LinkedIn and YouTube. 1 and some 2. Okay. All right.
We have 1s, we have 2s.
It's a mix.
It's a mix, yep.
Okay. See more
I
1s
think
here.
More 1s than 2s, but it's a good mix.
Okay.
Thank you, everybody. So let's just share some of. We have a lot of people that are carrying Thank you, everybody, for sharing.
Yes, thank you. That's great. Okay, 1, 2, 1, 2. Great. All right. So I just wanted to put this out here before you ever start a post, or I guess if some of you have started posting, you've kind of experienced this. But a huge mindset hack I had to get over when I first started posting was not everyone you know is going to support you. Did you ever have this coming up? Yeah. It's actually a lot of people you know are going to try to protect you and say that what you're doing is kind of cringy. What you're doing is kind of crazy. What are you doing with your life? You're spending a lot of time on this. Are you sure it's going to work out? And if you do this formula, it'll work out. You should always put content online. It's the next big thing. It's not the next big thing. It's already been happening. But you want your content online. It drives a lot of the goals that you want to get to.
I love that. Guys, we're all content creators, and Catherine is doing an amazing job and making it look easy, but it didn't start that way, right? Like you said, it starts, nobody believes in what you're doing. You got to build it up, but everybody needs to create content. I'll share something. You and I create content a lot on LinkedIn. You do it better. I'm learning, but basically that puts us in the top 3% of LinkedIn, because very few people actually post regularly. So whether you do it or not, just by doing it, you're positioning yourself in a great way. Then learning how to do it from you and doing it well and having rules, then you're constantly in people's minds. But we all need to do it. And don't let anybody tell you, if people tell you it's cringy, that's because usually they don't have the guts to do it. So, don't listen to any naysayers. You got to go and do it. And guess what? The first time you're going to do it, you're not going to be that good. Second time's going to be better. Third time you're going to improve, but you got to start doing it. So back to you, Catherine.
Yeah, exactly. I wish I had my first post ever. It's like nowhere near the engagement now. But I think that's always a good thing to share on something like this. But we can get into the strategy now if we want.
Sounds good.
Okay, someone said they have great response from videos they post on LinkedIn. Yeah, I've heard videos are doing really well right now. So that's a great place to start too. And this can actually maybe lead into videos as well, as far as your script. So you still want to hook with videos, as you probably know. But the first thing I do is figure out what I'm going to write. So when I'm searching for ideas or thinking about ideas, you can get ideas anywhere. You want to kind of niche down before you start posting so people know what to expect when they start following you. I am in personal development. It's a pretty broad niche, but I always think when I'm writing or when I'm reading or when I'm watching YouTube or doing whatever, how could I write this into a post? So this post here is 5 simple hacks to turn your talk into action. I want to figure out the 5 steps that I'm writing about first. So bias for action, consistent effort, realistic milestones, surround yourself with doers, embrace imperfect action. This could technically be 5 separate posts as well. But I like to think about what the post is before I write the hook, before I write the intro, anything like that. So I pretty much always have the little listicle that I do when you list out each topic like this. I have that done before I write anything else. So if you're doing a listicle, if you're doing like the meat, oh, go ahead.
We have a question here, and I think what you're saying is connects right with it. So the question we have is, Ian is asking, what type of questions should we ask ourselves when determining a good niche before creating content? Do you mind sharing with us?
Yeah, that is a great question. When you're niching down, what you want to think about is, what am I better at or more experienced at or have more knowledge about, even if it's just 10% more than the average person. Like, I'm not David Goggins. If you don't know who David Goggins is, he's an ex-Navy SEAL. He's like the personal development champion. He talks about getting your mind hard. He talks about doing the hard thing in the morning, whatever. I'm not him, but I might have more personal development ideas that I've read about or that I know about or that I've used or whatever more than the next guy. So when you're niching down, just think, what do I know that is what thing do I know about that I know 10% more than like maybe the top 10 contacts you have in your phone or something like that. Another good way to do it that I've heard is text like your 5 best friends or text your parents or text like people who are you're very close with and say, what do you think, like if I were to start writing content, what would I write about personally?
What would you like to hear from me?
Yeah. So you can go very broad like I do. You can also niche down to a very specific niche. I've heard that works really well for a lot of people. Like maybe you know someone who does workout tips for pregnant women. That's very niched, but I would watch it. I mean, I know there are a lot of pregnant women who would watch it. And if they're good tips and you're giving a lot of value, and this person who's writing about it has 10% more knowledge than maybe the person who wants to view it, it's a slam dunk.
I love it. Don't be afraid to niche, everybody. Don't be afraid to go. I have this analogy that I love, Catherine, and I'd love to hear your opinion on it. A sun can go on a forest for 1,000 years, nothing happens, but put a magnifying glass and fire will start. So don't be afraid to really niche to exactly who you want to talk to and who you can serve best. Just like Catherine say, who you know a little bit more that can better their lives. And don't think about how it will be viral for you. Think about how it will help others. That will help it become viral for you much, much quicker. Do you agree?
Absolutely agree. You want most of your content to serve rather than to tell. Like, I'm not telling people, I know this better than you. I'm saying, here's something that can help. So yeah, that's an absolutely amazing point.
And we had a couple of questions. How do you feel about video content? We have here a question about consistent video posting is the key. We had a couple of other questions about video. Do you post videos and how do you feel about video content?
I have never posted a video on LinkedIn. No, I haven't. I've been tagged in videos like podcasts and stuff. I've never posted a video on LinkedIn, but I know people who do post them, who started posting them from like a traditional like listicle type post that we have here. And they work very well as far as engagement. I think LinkedIn is rolling out like a Reels type of where you can scroll on video. And I think that's just working very well for people.
I want to share with everybody. So this is just a video we just posted. And people don't understand. It's not like this video got some crazy engagement. It truly didn't. It probably got 100 engagement. But check this out, ladies and gentlemen. This video was viewed for 20 hours. This is a 30-second video, okay? A 30-second video that was played over 20 hours on LinkedIn. So one thing you said before really resonated with me, and I'll stop the share, but not everybody, I go to events all the time and people tell me, oh my God, I see you on LinkedIn all the time. And in my head, I'm like, why don't you like and comment? Why don't you support? You like me, you're a fan, we're friends, you see me on LinkedIn all the time. Why don't you? Don't take things personally. You're going to get seen, okay? It's not always about who clicks and who comments. It's about putting yourself out there. So video is, people can't tell whether you're just talking to them live or they're seeing a video of you. So it's a great way to, in a way, get yourself rent-free in people's heads by teaching them what they want to know and by becoming an expert. So I'm a huge advocate of video, but it just takes longer to make and then you have to produce it. So it's a lot more work, I feel like, but it's totally worth it.
I totally agree. I've seen people who have a certain amount of engagement with the regular, like a standard listicle post, and then they blow up on video. So definitely worth trying. And like I said before, these rules are, they're not really rules. It's content, it's creation. So just try anything. I mean, what you aren't going to lose anything by posting a video unless
Absolutely.
it's crazy and you're just like very polarizing or something like that. But I
Then
know
you
we're
might
all
do other things. Yeah, you never know.
right. Okay, so after I figure out the meat of the post, I will write down kind of like ideas that I want to go over. A lot of my posts are listicle heavy, so I will have like lists like this: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I think today was just a pure list of sentences, like 15 sentences. So that's not something I typically do, but um, you'll have your big chunk of idea ready. And then the next thing I do is I will go to the top where I'm having like more of an intro type conversation with the audience. So this one is a good example because I'm saying, you know, here's why we're going to talk about putting your goals, or I'm sorry, your talk into action. Because when you're just talking about what your goals are, that's giving you a dopamine hit. And that kind of makes your brain think that, like, oh, I've achieved something, when you haven't yet. You've just talked about it, or you've just planned it, written it down, or something like that. So I give a really good description of why this is important to the reader. A lot of people want to turn their talk into action, so they'll hit more. And then I'll share something that's even more interesting than the hook. Why is this important to you? I don't write, why isn't it important to me? Like Zev mentioned earlier, you want to give value versus try to go viral, if that makes sense.
Absolutely.
And then the last thing I do is the hook. So I will think I've done a lot of research on other creators, on other platforms, hooks that do well. And I have they're all kind of similar in my opinion. Mine are, of what works for me, but use these 5 simple hacks. Or sometimes I'll say, give me 2 minutes and I'll show you how to do this. Or I'll say, or I'll give a good quote that relates to the post. And
May I give a couple more like ideas for people for hooks?
yes.
So how I did this by that, okay? Or how I saved this amount of money by doing that. How I made this amount of money by doing that. You got to try to get people to, how did he do that? So
Yeah.
we got to really entice people to read. Time is money, right? And people have stuff coming at them all day long from every angle. So that sentence is your sentence to entice people to say, let me see what Catherine wrote here, because I think that's going to serve my interest. Does that make sense?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I think another thing that you hit on here was numbers. Numbers look really well. People can quickly digest what a number is to them. So 5 simple hacks, great. This is going to be a short and quick post where I can turn my talk into action. Give me 2 minutes. Okay, great. I have 2 minutes to read this post. I made X amount in X days. That's a great one. Okay, we have questions here. If a person is an introvert and not comfortable on camera and doing videos, how can one overcome this? That's a great question. I'm very introverted. Being on LinkedIn Live is very uncomfortable for me. You just have to do it. You just have to maybe switch your mindset into, this video is not about me. This video is about me giving back, or providing something for someone. You want to get your message out into the world. It's very important. I think everyone has a message. Super important to get it out into the world. And if you switch from everybody's going to be looking at my face or like whatever is in the video to everybody's going to really benefit from the stuff I have to say, I think that's a good mental shift to have.
I love it. Numan said, challenge their beliefs. Love that for the hook, Numan. I think you're 100% right.
Oh,
Don't
yeah.
be afraid to ask questions that are, can shake them up a little bit, okay? Don't be afraid to be even a little bit humoristic. The goal is to get attention, guys, right?
Yeah. Absolutely. You don't want to be too polarizing, but I've done one where I'm like, do you have a friend who Googles everything? That like double checks Google and it was it was very polarizing in the comments. People were like, I do not do the reason I Google is because it's accurate. It's like, okay, you triggered someone, they clicked more, it worked.
Absolutely. And it's all about triggering someone. And again, it doesn't, once they get value from your post, it's all about giving, right? It's
Yeah.
all about if you're there to give, then I don't think anything wrong can happen. Serve, okay? Like this is something my wife and I have conversations about. We're here to serve. So if you're doing this to serve and if you're sharing information, for instance, Catherine, you've put yourself out here. You're an introvert. You put yourself on a live. The reason you did that is to share your knowledge with the community. That is you
Mhm.
being a servant leader that is just trying to give more to people out there. When you do that, everything seems to be easier. Now, um, if you're shy, don't start with a video, start with an image. Don't start with a video, write something down, create some kind of content, and then we can go into AI and all. That's going to make it very easy for everybody if they want to be on there. But start with something. If video is hard for you, start with an image and a post, or just write something. Give something from you to the community. That's how I think we should look at this. Everybody thinks you're doing great, Catherine. So if you didn't tell,
Thank you
no
so
one can tell
much.
your name.
So nice. Um,
Do
okay.
you think that shorter posts are better for virality, or can longer, in-depth content go viral just as easily? Interesting question.
I think that it depends on the value you're giving. If you need a few more words to give the full value of what you're trying to communicate, go for a longer post. I'd say this post is pretty long. I mean, it goes on and on, kind of. So, but it did pretty well. I mean, I think I got like 20 shares on it. That's pretty good. Let's see, 108,000 impressions, 20 reposts, 136 comments. So it can work. Longer posts can work. What goes viral more often for me? Shorter posts. Brevity is key when you're writing. You want to get your point across without being too wordy, because people have short attention spans, or they have short attention spans when they're not actively seeking. You're not actively seeking when you're scrolling. Something catches your eye and you start reading. So
I love that. If I can take it a little bit, so don't write long to write long. Don't write short to write short. Write
right.
to give. If you can give all that value in one paragraph, do it in one paragraph. If you need more paragraphs to give the value, do that. But don't write in order to sound smart. People hate that. So put concise amount of value you can put it in there. If you need more room, give more room. Sometimes posts surprise me. Like the video that I just showed you is a video where I speak about linen. And I think I shared things about linen that people didn't know. That why people, continued watching it. But it was only for me to deliver value. There was really nothing in it for me, if that makes sense. We have another question here by Jonas. I hope I pronounce your name correctly. Do you agree that niche content cannot always be valuable, even if it attracts large audience? Do you understand the question?
I think so. I think it depends on your audience whether they find value in it. Maybe elaborate on that a little more and let
So,
me know.
Jonas, if you can, thank you for your participation. Thank you, everybody. You're amazing. If you can clarify your question, and we'll make sure we're answering it. So, when you say always be valuable, do you mean always deliver value, or some of it can just be for fun? I'm trying to understand. Jonas, please clarify your question. We have Numan here. Thanks for asking. What's the one mistake you think people make when trying to create content? That's a great question.
Yeah, I think Zev nailed it. Trying to sound smarter than you are, or trying to maybe you lose a lot of authenticity when you try too hard. If that makes sense, you want to just add value. You don't want to sound smart. It's the old adage, be interested, not interesting. That's what, you hear people say that before you go on a date or something. Be interested, not interesting.
Love that. I think sales and dating, Catherine, is so
It's the same
simple.
thing.
So similar. I actually wrote a book on it when I was younger. I never published it, but we have an amazing question. Robert, thank you, Robert. First time
Robert
seeing
Mary. Hey, Robert.
no one wants to be sold constantly. Absolutely. But we have to sell to live. Absolutely. How do you balance motivational, educational, and selling content? I'll have Catherine answer it, but first, you got to look at a funnel. Some things are just to create value, and those should be the majority of things. Then some things should dive deeper to your target market to help them things, but that should be the smaller part. So you can't hit everybody on the head. Nobody's going to like that. You give value, you show yourself, you show your expertise, and then you bring people to you. That's how I see it, but I would love your answer, Catherine.
That's exactly what I was going to say. If you're giving value, and Robert, you're so good at this. If you give value, people will want to buy your value. If you just okay, how do you balance motivational, educational, and selling content? I would do very little selling content. One, it doesn't perform as well. I'm not sure why.
It's pretty clear to know why. We're not doing it for them. We're doing it for us, right?
Yeah, it's more of it's a serving thing. So content, you're serving value. And if people deem that value very high, then they're going to want to buy. That's my opinion, but Zev, you answered it very well.
So awesome. So everybody, we've had the amazing Catherine here for about half an hour. Oh, we have a clarification from Jonas. Let's get this one before. Most niche posts are more entertaining than impactful. This is what I meant by valuable. Thank you for your answer. Sometimes, yeah, you got to entertain. You got to get somebody's attention before. So some things are just, broad and entertaining. Not everything is to drive, but it has some kind of value. Entertainment is valued for them too, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it may not be value based on your product or your service, just like my linen video. I'm a marketer and an AI guy. Sharing with you guys about linen doesn't create any business for me, but it created value for my listeners. I could see that because, 10,000 of them watched the video. So you create value. It's just not always value that you want to sell or you want to, take advantage of, if that makes sense, Jonas. And thank you so much. Catherine, you've been amazing and incredible. Everybody's interested. I know you're very busy. Can you take a few minutes, share with people a little bit more about you, how they can reach out to you, what you do? You do a lot of things, and finish us off with some tips of what people need to do in order to get more viral and what people need to do to create their next post. I want everybody on here to come out knowing what they need to do for the next post.
Yes. Okay. Awesome. Well, again, Catherine Teedy, I'm the founder of Impact Content. I will have a course coming out to give even more details about how to go viral online, 2025 before it comes out. But you can find me on LinkedIn. You can DM me. I'm very slow at getting back, so I'm very sorry. But you can DM me there. I also have a little freebie where you can sign up for like how to optimize your profile. I think it's very important when you start creating content to optimize your profile. So that value that you were talking, Eunice, they're going to go to your profile because they were entertained and maybe click around. And maybe the value comes from you have a freebie online or you have like your website on there and it will drive traffic to your website and it just becomes more valuable. So be sure to optimize. I have a freebie on that. I can send a link somewhere. But the first thing you need to do, I think the first thing that I did, which was super helpful, was realize that not everybody is going to support you until they see you being supported by strangers. It's a weird phenomenon. I can tell a story. Do we have time? I can tell like a
Much time as you want.
okay. My mom, she was always very supportive. I don't want to say not supportive, but she didn't get it. Maybe she didn't understand what this was, and she didn't care one way or the other. But one of her friend's kids screenshot one of my posts that one of his, like a high up in his industry, reposted, and he's like, why is Catherine getting reposted by this man? And sent it to his mom. His mom sent it to my mom's group text. And that's when I started, this was like 10 months into creating. That's when I started getting her like support. And she's like, wow, my daughter's a creator. Like, and it's just like so weird. People will switch, just give them time. That was the number one thing. Just know not everybody, like not all your friends are going to come out and like start liking and sharing your posts in hordes. It's just not going to happen. The second thing you want to do is really study your niche. Study the top people in your niche. Figure out who's doing what and how are they doing it well? Why is it working? And now that you have this framework of how a post is typically put together, hook, a little bit of story, the meat of it. I didn't even mention CTA. I'm so sorry. I'm so scattered. A CTA is a call to action at the end. You want to always end with a CTA. I've found that when posts go viral, not a lot of people even pay attention to it, but you want to have like, share this if it's helpful, or follow me for more, or whatever. That's the last part. But now that you have the framework, you're going to be able to go out there and kind of think like a creator. You're going to look at other creators' posts who have done well. Mm-hmm. You're going to be able to dissect, why did this work? Why isn't this working? Why did I do a post similar to this and it didn't work for me? Oh, maybe my hook wasn't written well. Oh, maybe I didn't have enough story to keep them hooked in. And what else did you ask?
So give us examples of good CTAs. Okay, so what is a good CTA that is not too salesy, but it's something that if somebody's enjoying your content, you can ask them to do something.
Right. So another mindset hack for this, a CTA feels cringy. Everybody does CTAs. Just put it on there. It always helps the post. A good CTA would be, share this if you found it helpful. Share this post if you found it helpful. Send this to a friend who needs it. That way it's getting shared and pushed across the platform in more ways than just on your page to someone else's timeline. Another good one.
Add on videos, guys, as well. This is something I struggle with, to actually say on the video, please comment and like and share, but it helps.
It does.
Throughout clients we have throughout, if you actually, and have a genuine ask, like, you know, if you're actually, hey guys, your likes really help me share this with other people. If you find this, you know, we can do it here. If you find this live helpful, share it with others, give it to others, you know, comment more. You got to ask. In the Bible, it says, ask and you shall receive, right? So as cringy as it sounds, if we want something, we got to ask for it. So every post you guys have, you need to have some kind of a CTA, even if it's a completely simple one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it doesn't have to be cringy. It feels cringy. But when you think about it, you're reading other people's posts and they're saying, share this or follow me for more. It doesn't seem cringy when they have it on there. Saying, send this to a friend who needs it is the Instagram equivalent of sharing a meme with a friend. Exactly. And you want to share memes with your friends. You want to share value with your friends. You want to share value with your network. So it's not cringy, I promise.
Not cringy. It feels cringy to us, but again, we got to put it out there. Now, make sure you put more service than what you ask to get back. That's kind of my rule. Always give more than you ever ask to receive. I actually even think about it as a 90-10 type thing. Mm-hmm. Now, I want everybody here, okay? Whether you row 1 or 2, I want everybody here to take the rules that Catherine gave us and create something. Okay? Create a post, create a video, create something. Last thing I'm going to ask of you is, most of the posts I see from you is a copy and an image. How do you choose your image? How do you choose which images to post?
Great point. I post images of my face to help with familiarity of my face. I'm the brand. Catherine Teedy is the brand, and so I post my face. A lot of people do text cards. They'll do like a quote in the text. I mean, in an image. They'll do, what I would say to avoid is like stock images or something that isn't truly authentic to you, right? But images are said to help boost in the algorithm, and they help with your brand. They help with your, the vibe you want to put out there. So definitely put an image or a video or even just a text card if you don't want to be on screen.
Love this, Robert. How about if you say, I'll give you $1? You can. You just better give the dollars to the people.
Don't do it, Robert. Don't do it.
I had a video that went viral that we actually showed how we make videos. And then we said anybody that would share this video, one person will win a video. So we had hundreds of people share the video, and one person won like a $5,000 video. So you got to give a reason for people to do things. There's a comment here from Yavuz. I hope I'm pronouncing your name correctly. He asked and received a few nails on a junction so painful. Not sure I get that, but if you want it, please let us know. And guys, this is how we know we get great guests, when we get so many people asking and so many interactions. So thank you, everybody. And again, Catherine, we went a little bit longer, but we have all the time for you in the world. Can you close our live with giving people, I want everybody to post, okay? You have till the end of the week to post, whether you're doing it regularly or not. Can you close off by a small advice of how to do it, how to come about it, and how to reach out to you?
Yes. How to post, you mean? How to come, just start. Just hit post. You're going to have butterflies. It's going to feel a little weird if you've never done it. If you do it and you're doing like a new process, like following these guidelines here, and it feels kind of weird, just post. I love the by Friday. You guys should really just start posting. The best time to start was yesterday. Second best time is today. Okay. And then
his comment that he was talking about Christ. Absolutely. We appreciate it. Guys, thank you so much. What great responses and great questions.
Yeah, thank you guys in the chat. You guys are popping off. I love it. And then, like I said before, you can find me on LinkedIn, Catherine Teedy. There is an optimization, a LinkedIn optimization in one of my links. It says, I think, go to my website, and it's free. You can download it, optimize your site. As you start posting, people will know what to click when they come to you for value.
I love it. And you did something that I loved. You asked the chat to click 1 or 2. So chat, if you enjoyed Catherine, her amazing advice, and if this is helpful for you, click 1 on the chat. Let us know that this was helpful, and tell thank you to the amazing Catherine. You have shared so much information. Everybody should connect with you. Everybody should follow you. We'll try to get you again on a live. I know you're coming into a very, very exciting period and motherhood, but I know you're doing a lot of things. Catherine has started Impact Content. She helps people on LinkedIn. She does so many things. We also know some other things you're doing with some other companies. Incredible and amazing. And everybody, if this was helpful for you, please click 1 on the chat so we'll know to bring Catherine back to us again. Thank you very, very much. Catherine,
thank you guys.
Incredible.
Thank you for having me so much.
Awesome. See you guys. See you in the next live. Bye.
Bye.